So I've been talking a lot about being uncompromising lately, and people are asking me, what does uncompromising mean? So I want to talk about it. Being uncompromising means giving as much as you want to give and getting or receiving as much as you want to receive so that you feel optimally awake and aligned and valued and respected. So that's the goal. Give as much as you want to give and receive as much as you want to receive. The challenge, I think, that most of us experience is that we say yes so much more than we actually want to say yes. It's a cultural norm. I do it all the time, right? I want to be a yes. I don't want to be a no. No's are no fun. No's aren't sexy. No's aren't hardworking. No's aren't good friends. So I say yes. But so frequently I do not mean yes. And I want to take it back. I say yes, yes, yes. And then I think, oh, no, no, no. But it feels like it's too late. So I ask you, how frequently do you say yes when you actually mean no? And how frequently do you ask for as much as you want? Or even how frequently do you just ask for a little bit even of what you really want? So that's the pattern that I want us to start to look at and to interrupt, because I think most of us are saying yes a lot more than we really want to and that we really mean to. And most of us are not asking for exactly what we want as often as we want to do it. So before we start talking about how to interrupt that pattern, how to change that pattern, how to be uncompromising, I want us to understand why it's happening. So what's behind this pattern that so many of us, especially so many of us women, of we women, are saying yes more frequently than we mean to, are giving more than we want, and are not receiving as much as we want or asking for as much as we want. So let's talk a little bit about what's behind this. So I think there are two things going on. There's a vicious cycle and there's a virtuous cycle. So this is how I like to think about it. So the vicious cycle, let's start there. The vicious cycle is when we start to give more than we really want to give. So let's imagine that a boss asks us to give something, and we know that by giving it, we're going to get out of alignment with our values. We're going to feel misaligned. We're going to feel less awake and potent than we really want to feel, but we give it anyway. By giving that, it puts a little tear in our view of ourselves. It's like we can't trust ourselves 100%. It's like a break in our view of ourselves. And that's essentially diminishing our self-worth. It's affecting our self-confidence. And it's a cycle. So when we do it, it actually makes it more likely that we will do it again. So every time we give a little bit more, we put a little break in our self-worth and our self-confidence, and we're more likely to do it again. We're more likely to give more again. The good news is that the flip side is also true. So this is what I call the virtuous cycle. So when someone asks us for something and we don't want to give it, when we know that by giving it, we won't feel the kind of respect, the self-respect, the self-value. We just won't feel as awake and alive and juicy as we want to feel by giving it. When we say, I can give you this, but I can't give you that. Just can't do it, I'm sorry. When we do that, it starts to build us up. And we feel more powerful. And we feel more self-respect and more self-value. And it's also a cycle. So the more we do it, the more we're likely to do it. Every single time we say, no, I can't give that, we're more likely to say, no, I can't do that. We're more likely to create a boundary. So the vicious cycle and the virtuous cycle. Now, of course, our goal is to live more over here in the virtuous cycle where we're creating healthy boundaries for ourselves and we're not giving more than we really want to give, where we're being uncompromising, right? Of course, that's easier said than done. So I want to talk about some really specific, tangible skills that you can employ to start to move from the vicious cycle to the virtuous cycle. And I'm going to do that in my next video. But I want to prepare you for it. It's simple, but the hardest part about it is actually practicing. And the best way to practice is to do it with a buddy, to do it with a friend. So your homework is to find someone who you're going to watch the next video with. And in fact, come back and watch this one with him or her. And let them be your uncompromising community, even if it's just an uncompromising community of 2. It's so much easier to practice this once a day and to fail and to succeed together. Okay? So find that person, come back, rewatch this, and then watch the next one together and start to practice moving out of that vicious cycle and practicing creating some boundaries and starting to know how much you want to give and know how much you want to ask for. With uncompromising love, I will see you next week. Mwah.